He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
Well, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life. Yes, we talk about liberty, and we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you are. Just remember, because this is the day that the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad in it. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I would do this episode justice if I didn't say what I'm about to say right here. But how about them Tigers? I think the nation was rocked Saturday night, and it wasn't even political, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm hearing so much commentary about this game that about LSU beating Alabama. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be blunt with you. As y'all know, I am a youth pastor of a local church here in my area. And we had a youth event. I say a youth event. We decided to cook a meal and invite the youth to the church if they wanted to watch the game. We put the TV outside, and ladies and gentlemen, I think the whole neighborhood heard us when LSU went for 2 and beat Alabama. And look, like I said, I don't think I could do this episode justice, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I could if I would not mention that. Now, my friends that are Bama fans, I love y'all guys. I love everyone in my audience. Look, hey, heart bubbles to everybody. I love every one of you. I love spending time with you guys each and every week, twice a week. But LSU and Alabama, that is just a bitter rivalry. And kudos to Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, did a great good. Look, don't get me wrong. You can tell when there's a good coach game when you have that close of a score. But Bama just fell short a few times. And but I'm not mad about that. I'm happy. But how about them Tigers? And at the beginning of the year, if I was here, I was here, but I wasn't talking about LSU football. No, correction, I did, because I talked about Florida State. And I would have to go back and listen to the episode, but my thought process was if LSU had a winning record and had a chance to be part of the college football playoffs, I would have said, that thought wasn't even in my head. But ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how things turn around. Now, LSU is the only 2-loss team in the top 10 right now. They're projecting forward. And I want to see what happens. On this note, I think they go face Georgia in the SEC championship. LSU holds their own destiny in their hand. And we're going to have to see what happens. But also, this is the last episode before the midterms elections. Tuesday night is going to be a big night for us here at BGS Media. We are doing a Facebook Live and YouTube Live special election midterm coverage. We will be at the party of Rodney Chitwood. Mr. Rodney Chitwood has invited us to go be part of that. So we're going to go ahead and be live on location. The first time ever the Cajun Conservative goes live on location. So we're going to be doing that. And we're just going to, we're going to be talking politics. I'm hoping that I can get this. I'm working all the details out to where I can put the stuff of the election results coming in. And we're going to be talking to C3. They're going to be with us from the 8 o'clock hour. Mr. Escobar is going to be with us. He is a former ATF agent, and he's an author of, I think, over 50 books now. He has been on our program to talk about one of his books when he was talking about Joe Biden being a one-and-done president. He's going to be with us at the 7:30 mark, and we have not lined up no one for 9 o'clock, but we're going to still have fun, ladies and gentlemen. 3 hours of talking politics. And it's going to be fun. Now, this is going to be my first time, so in advance, please forgive me. But that's going to start at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Go ahead and check that out. If this is your first time listening to the Cajun Conservative, hope you love the content. Hope you love the opinions. please go ahead, hit a like, hit the subscribe button on the platform you are listening on, and tell a friend about us. We're excited, and I'm just excited because the midterm elections are almost here, ladies and gentlemen. We've been talking about these midterm elections now for over a year. And when it was early in the process, the Democrat Party was saying, yes, we get to hold the Senate. And even from an early point, I was like, I don't see that happening. But people kept on telling me, no, we're gonna lose the Democrats are gonna lose the House, but they keep the Senate. And it still would have been a lame duck presidency, worse than what it was in the last 2 years. But ladies and gentlemen, I think now people are starting. I think the Democrats are getting real scared. The Democrat Party is getting real scared because Tuesday is fast approaching, and they're slowly seeing their influence dwindle away. Why do I say that? Because the latest polls, all the toss-up seats, so far I'm hearing, has the Republicans leading. So Real Clear Politics has come out, and I reported this last time, have come out and said that the Democrat Party will only get a couple of seats, and the Republicans are probably going to gain 4 to 5 seats more. Because they have 50 seats now, ladies and gentlemen. Now, that is not counting Pat Toomey's spot where John Featherman's trying to get. If John Featherman would win that race against him at odds, I think the Republican Party picks up Georgia, which would leave it 50-50. But I do see, I think Arizona, and this is my take on this. Arizona is going to play a key part in there because Kari Lake is winning against Hobbs, according to polls. Now, like we talked about polls a while back, you can't really put your trust in polls because if you do that, you really won't know what happens. Or anything could happen. Look at 2016. They had polls of Hillary Clinton winning by a landslide, and it didn't happen. So you just go ahead and you gotta play it out. You just gotta play this out, especially on Tuesday night. But according to the polls, Kari Lake is winning in a dramatic fashion, and I just don't see. And this is a quote from my good friend Roger from Culper's Canteen Cup. He told me the other day he don't see Republicans going to vote for Kari Lake than vote for Mark Kelly. I don't see it either. But I think that's where we go over the 51 threshold. Then you got Nevada, Colorado. I heard is now a toss-up. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is taking a whole turn on the Democrat Party. So now they're running scared. So much so that now they are starting to use scare tactics on the people to try to stay in the power. What do I mean by that? Well, the president on down, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has been on CNN and more news networks than I can remember. She's never in front of the news. They pulled her out to come and talk about all this stuff with the election coverage, and we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton in a little while, but they started using scare tactics to go ahead and try to keep their majority. They have talked about Social Security. I have not heard one Republican senator, one Republican congressman, one Republican candidate say, hey, we are going to cut Medicaid. Hey, we're going to cut Social Security. Hey, we're going to go ahead and cut this or that. They never said this, ladies and gentlemen. But from the president on down, they have been saying how the Republicans are going to cut the Social Security and cut the Medicaid. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they're going back to an old playbook. I remember listening to Rush Limbaugh years ago, and Rush said this is how they got people to vote for them, especially the older folks. Oh, do you like your Social Security? Oh, do you like your Medicaid? Well, don't vote Republican because they are going to go ahead and cut Medicaid. They're going to go ahead and they're going to cut the Social Security, and the older folks would always get scared. This is a Democratic tactic of winning the elderly vote. No Republican has said that to my knowledge. And if they did, please, if you have the audio and you have the video, please send it to me. I would love to watch it, and I will come on the air and say I was wrong. Now it's going to a whole nother issue, ladies and gentlemen, because according to the Democrats, we have some election deniers running for government. Carrie Lake, they call her an election denier. They call her Sean Walker an election denier. They call Blake Masters an election denier. If you have an R behind your name, unless you're Liz Cheney, you're an election denier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that I don't believe 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. I don't. And I believe certain ways on the election. But there's a lot of Republicans out there that they believe the election was fair and balanced. They believe that, and they have their right to believe that. Like election deniers have their right to believe whatever they want. They have the right to believe that. But the Democrats are using that. But let me go back to this last point before I get to that. There are a lot of Republicans that do not believe I'm going to quote their words, as election deniers believe. And ladies and gentlemen, but the Democrat Party don't care about this. If you have an R behind your name, they're going to call you an election denier with also other things. Now, last Wednesday, President Joe Biden had a speech, and this is my Senate using scare tactics right before the election. Politico wrote an article on Wednesday, which would have been, let me pull up my handy dandy calendar. Wednesday was the 2nd of November. So the 2nd of November of 2022, our president, Joe Biden, goes ahead and he is talking in front of a Democratic National Committee. And the article reads from Politico, Biden, in our bones, we know democracy is at risk. And the article reads, and this was written by Oliver Arlander and Christopher Catalogo, wrote this. President Joe Biden warned in a speech on Wednesday that the country's democracy was dangerously close to crumbling, painting the closing stretch of the midterm elections in stark terms. In our bones, the president declared at one point, we know democracy is at risk. The president continued on saying, we often not faced with questions on whether the vote we cast will preserve democracy. He said at another point, but this year we are. And the speech was about 20 minutes long, ladies and gentlemen. Biden also went ahead and said violence against Democrats, Republican, nonpartisan officials just doing their jobs are consequences of lies told of power and profit, lies of conspiracy and malice, lies repeated over and over to generate a circle of anger, hate, vitriol, and even violence. vitriol. I don't know how. Excuse me. He said, in violence, he said. Along with broader terms, Biden suggests Americans should be closely watching for two possible upcoming developments. He issued a warning again about possible scores of Republican officials and activists trying to undermine the vote on Tuesday. And he set expectations it would take time to count ballots legally. We know that many states don't start counting these ballots till after the polls close on November 8th, he said. This means in some cases we won't know the winner of election until after a few days after the election. It takes time to count all legitimate ballots in a legal and orderly manner. But he was also careful. I'm skipping through. But he was also careful to add that much of the dangers were being spurred by MAGA Republicans, significantly when he described the clear danger despite being only a district minority of the country. This is the path to chaos in America, Biden said. It's unprecedented. It's unlawful. It's un-American. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm going to start off with this, reading this speech bit by bit and bring you the highlights of the speech through Politico. Biden, one, is saying that democracy is at risk. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, especially the last election, if it was fair and balanced, why are we worried? You get what I'm saying? And also, and look, I think they're trying, in my humble opinion, trying to have excuses lined up for when they lose on Tuesday. But ladies and gentlemen, all the polls are leading to a Republican takeover of the House and the Senate. Now, according to Biden, though, if you vote Republican, basically, you are bringing down the halls of democracy. Now, I don't believe we're a democracy. I believe we're a republic. If you listen to the Pledge of Allegiance, it says, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. It didn't say to the democratic of which we stand, or the democracy of which we stand. No, it said the republic. We are a republic. Now, we have some form of democracy in our republic, but we're not a democracy. We are a republic. But Biden is highlighting, and to come up to a point too, if you vote, and it's just not, look, there are a couple of election deniers, in their words. I'm going to say it like this. In their words, so-called election deniers running in a few seats, but they're lumping all Republicans in that. And because you lump all Republicans in that, if you vote Republican, you are bringing down the democracy. Democracy is at stake, ladies and gentlemen, according to the Democrat Party. He also said it's unprecedented. It is a path to chaos in America. Well, there's a problem with this. We've been living in chaos for 2 years. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they're bringing out the chaos of the Republican Party. Or if you vote Republican, you're going to bring down the democracy, and you're going to bring chaos. And this is un-American if you do this. But you notice, ladies and gentlemen, what happened to the summer of love when there was really chaos and when there really was unprecedented destruction and people being un-American by destroying their fellow Americans' businesses all over this nation? Oh, that wasn't chaos. That was done in the night. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a scare tactic that Biden is using, and he is using it again. I've heard speeches coming along. He is using it again. He said something about coal. We're going to talk about that later on with Joe Manchin. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not to unify the nation. This is dividing the nation. And I only read a couple of parts of this, and I want to go into more detail. I'm really running short on time. But ladies and gentlemen, the president of the United States, he is not trying to unify these people. What he's trying to do is trying to scare you into voting Democrat. The president is trying to scare you into voting Democrat because it's just not the president either. It is Joe Biden. It is Barack Obama. It is Hillary Clinton. It is Cory Booker. I don't care who it is. Every Democrat is trying to fear tactic you into voting Democrat. Because, ladies and gentlemen, as I pointed out, they're going to take away the Republicans. If you vote Republican, you better like your Medicaid, because they're going to take away your Medicaid. Oh, if you vote Republican, well, you better enjoy your Social Security while you have it, because the Republicans are going to take away your Social Security. Now, if you vote Republican, you are hurting democracy, and you're un-American, and you're going to bring down this country into chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing more than a fear tactic. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you look, you're going to go vote on Tuesday. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. You are expressing yourself through our voting system, which is part of the democracy system we have. Remember, we're a republic. We use forms of democracy for certain things, but not everything, because we are a republic. But ladies and gentlemen, and this, I'm going to go ahead and continue on to the next break on this. I'm going to explain why they're doing this. You think about it, because it just comes to mind. They're trying to scare you, the people, into voting Democrat. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it's going to work. Because, yeah, they might try to scare you, but you're feeling the pain of the last 2 years of high inflation and every other thing that has happened in these last 2 years. This is Isaac Hayes. I'll be right back after this short break.
How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, we haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need. If you're in the Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company.
With your blood, cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. I want to go ahead and continue a little bit. I have other things lined up, but I want to finish this point off. And it was a heartbreak. It was a heartbreak. And but going to that, why is the Democrat Party and the left trying to scare you to vote Democrat? Because, ladies and gentlemen, they don't have nothing else to run on. And I've learned this, and this has happened. Look, I've talked about Hogan Haggett, the guy that is running, one of the people that are running against Clay Higgins here in the 3rd District of Louisiana. The man goes on the air, and all he does is attack Clay Higgins personally, not on his record. Why? Because Holton Haggett cannot go ahead and run on issues because he has not ran for Congress. He said he's going to go and fight, but if Nancy Pelosi takes over the Senate, he's going to be doing just like Clay Higgins, keeping up an office in the White House, in the Capitol. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people that don't want to vote for Clay Higgins, and I keep telling them that, oh, no, he's not good, he's not good. Well, what you want us to do? What you want the man to do? And this is the same scenario. So it happens on both sides of the aisle. But the Democrat Party cannot run on issues, so they're going to scare people into voting Democrat. That's why Joe Biden is doing this. Joe Biden is not really worried about the democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, all he wants is your vote, and if he cannot tell you what he has done good for the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, inflation has hit all-time highs. Then there's other, and look, I know a friend that talked to me. He said this probably would have happened even under Trump. Possibly so. We don't know. Trump's not in office, but it fell into Biden's territory. Look, ladies and gentlemen, they raised. Let me see if I can find it. Did I put it in my notes? Yeah. Obama job. No. Wrong thing. Yeah. Well, it was done Wednesday. The interest rate went up 0.75% to fight inflation. That the Fed went ahead and did that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna have to pay more interest for loans. As inflation goes up, this is gonna go up because it's supposed to combat inflation. But ladies and gentlemen, this was all done under the Biden administration, and high inflation, high gas prices, food supply chain shortage, oil short. All this stuff has happened under the Biden administration. But you're still going to have Democrats vote Democrat. You're still going to have people vote for the Democrats because, we don't want big bad orange man or his goons in office. We don't want Kerry Lake. We don't want Mehmet Oz. We don't want Herschel Walker. We don't want Blake Masterson. We don't want none of them nuts being part of our federal government. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why they are running scared. And instead of putting out their political record, we're going to scare them. We're going to go ahead and bring lies about the Republican Party like, hey, they're going to get rid of your health care. They're going to get rid of your Medicaid. They're going to get rid of your Social Security. They're going to get rid of democracy as we know it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what I don't get as well. Biden, and this is what the Fox News article reads, Biden suggests voters voting for Republicans is a threat to democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, what is bigger threat to democracy than you're trying to change the way that our country's run? Well, what you mean, Isaac? What you mean by that? Getting rid of the filibuster? The founding fathers put that in place for a reason. But the Democrat Party, because they can't get what they want to destroy the filibuster. And thank you, Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema, for being level-headed and right-minded to where you can say, hey, we're not going to do that. That's wrong. Our founding fathers did not want to get rid of that. But ladies and gentlemen, Biden and a lot of the Democrats want to get rid of the filibuster. Why? Because they want to have a dictatorship over you, the American citizen. And they can't get nothing done with a 60-vote threshold, so they want to go ahead and get rid of it, change the rules, and guess what? Bang. They get to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and however they want to do it. But Biden says voting Republican is a threat to democracy. You are threatening your democratic position in America. But you have a president that wants to get rid of the filibuster. You got a president that wants to change the voting laws so it's easier for them to win. Oh, Isaac, you can't say, what about H.R. 5? I'm just bringing that out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue with the Democrat Party. Don't vote Republican, because if you vote Republican, you are threatening the democracy of our country. But at the same time, they want to stop democracy by changing rules in the Senate and the Congress. And Tuesday is important, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday is important. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you want a president that is talking out of both ends of his mouth, or do you want a party that's going to help you, the American citizen? Throughout this whole history of our country, the Democrats have not helped us. Every time the Democrats have been in control, something bad has happened. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. The only track record of helping America is the Republican Party. That is my opinion on that. All right, Midtown study finds mainstream media gives Republicans 87% more negative coverage than Democrats. This is from Fox News. This was done Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. A News Media Research Center study of ABC, CBS, and NBC nightly newscasts found Republicans receive much more negative coverage than Democrats heading into the midterm elections. The conservative media watchdog / group highlighted how 87% of news networks' coverage of the GOP was negative. The study took place between September 1st and October 26th and found coverage related to President Biden up just 16% of total campaign coverage. Ladies and gentlemen, why is the Republican Party having 87% negative coverage? It's because the media is in the hand of the Democratic Party. Majority, not Fox. Now, Fox News is look, if I had to rate people left, centered, and far right, CNN, MSNBC, they all far to the left. Moderate would be Fox News. I'm sorry, Fox. I have to be honest with you. You are moderate. Why? Because you take stands on certain things, or you have people on that network like Kennedy and Carlson and Waters and Ingram that highlight your whole primetime slot that is conservative. But everybody else is, we don't know. And they sugarcoat a lot of things. Are they more to the right than the left? Absolutely. But I would consider Fox a moderate network than compared to Newsmax and One News and all that. That's more right center stuff. But why do Republicans get 87% more negative coverage than Democrats? Because as I just said, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrat Party has the media in their pocket. That's why. It is the same reason why Trump had 98% negative coverage on these same networks. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they hated Donald Trump. That's how they got their ratings up. They talk bad about Donald Trump. They didn't want Donald Trump to win. Why? Because Donald Trump was messing up the system. But, ladies and gentlemen, media. And look, I try to do that, ladies and gentlemen. I try to be fair and balanced. I try to look at both sides of the issues, and I try to bring them out. And ladies and gentlemen, look, there's one political candidate right here. I tell people I am endorsing. And, I try not to do it openly, but I hope, hey, I hope certain candidates win. That is my choice. That is my preference. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to go ahead and invite a candidate, the candidate I like. I've done that with the police chief position here in a nearby town. I've invited all the police candidates. Only one showed up. And that's the only one that cares a flip about anything. And he's running around. And I hope he wins because I see he cares for the people. But if the other two candidates would have came, I would have listened to him and I would ask him the same questions. But ladies and gentlemen, the media isn't doing that. The mainstream media isn't doing that. The mainstream media, all they're doing is pushing Democratic agendas. That's why one thing I tell people like Featherman and Dr. Mehmet Oz. Oh, it's a tight race. We think Featherman's going to pull it out. Ladies and gentlemen, look at all the polls. And let's just clear obvious, like Louisiana. Kennedy's blowing people out the water. Kennedy is very popular in a red state. The ones that are likely Republican, 9 out of 10, those are the Republicans that's going to win. But tight races, you never see the Democrat Party losing. Never. I can tell you polls are close, and there's some conservative groups that show him he's over one and everything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, the media is using polls to shape your opinion of somebody. They're not giving you the news and make your own opinion. They're giving you the news and telling you their opinion. And look, I fight with this all the time. Well, Isaac, ain't you trying to do the same thing? I'm an opinionist. I comment on what's happening in the news. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a reporter. I'm an opinionist. And I give you my opinion of what I see. And this is why I see the mainstream media is giving Republicans more coverage. Because they want the Democrats to win. They don't want Mehmet Oz to win. They don't want Herschel Walker. Look, I'm going to use that for example. Remember the two women that come out and said that Herschel Walker told them to have abortions. And he even paid for them. The women don't want to give their name. Now, Herschel Walker has admitted he knew one of them and he did have a child with them. But ladies and gentlemen, their media ran with that. And look, at the end of everything, we have not independently confirmed that, but boy, it must be true. Why? Because it hurt Herschel Walker. Well, it didn't really hurt him, but it was an October surprise. But when conservatives start saying, well, what about Randolph Warnock's trying to roll over his wife? Oh, that hasn't been confirmed. We can't talk about that, and there's video evidence of it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think the media is on your side, no, it's not. From Breitbart, Democrat crank up, Manchin blast Democrat Biden's coal comment as outrageous. Senator Joe Manchin blasts Joe Biden on Saturday regarding his recent pledge to shut down the U.S. coal industry. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Biden made the comments at a Vesta headquarters in Carlsbad, California on Friday while promoting the $50 billion Chip and Science Act that he signed into law in August. The president claimed that the proceedings energy from coal plants is too expensive. The production of energy from coal plants is too expensive and unreliable, which has been, excuse me, it's so unreliable. We've just been doing it for 100 and some years. It's unreliable. Really? It's too expensive. Really? How long have you been doing it? Oh, close to 200 years. Yeah. And my uncle's Bill Gates and I'm getting $1 million in life. I'm a millionaire. Doesn't say it. It's too expensive and unreliable, and that is unnecessarily to translate is necessary to transition into solar and wind energy. We're going to be shutting down these plants down all across America and having wind and solar, Biden stated. The following day, Manchin released a scorching response to Biden's remark to shut down the coal industry. President Biden's comments are not only outrageous and diverse from reality, they're ignorant. The serve economical plan the American people are feeling because of raising energy costs, the West Virginia senator said in a statement. Now, before I move on, the White House has backtracked. They've been doing that a lot lately. They've been backtracking. Joe Biden, and this came from the Daily Wire today, November 5th. No, Yeah, November 5th on Saturday. The White House walked back remarks from President Joe Biden on Friday after the president he said he was going to be shutting down coal plants across the country aimed at the energy crisis. I was in Massachusetts about a month ago on the site of the largest old coal plant in America. Guess what? It cost them too much money, Biden said at an event in Carlsbad, California. No one is building new coal plants because they can't rely on it, even if they have the coal guarantee for the rest of the existence of the planet. So it's going to become a wide wind generation. We mentioned all this earlier, comments like these, and that's what Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin said this. Let me be clear. There's something the president has never said to me. The White House tried to do damage control over Biden's remark with Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre and issued a long statement claiming that the people are twisting the words that the president said, even thought they are just quoting the president. So yeah, Joe Manchin is not happy with President Joe Biden. And don't you like this, ladies and gentlemen, how they said this? Well, people are taking the president's words out of content. They're misquoting the president. But ladies and gentlemen, all that I just read to you was a quote, a direct quote from the president of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats don't care about you. They want their win and their solar because they think it's a good voting point. And guess what? You can go ahead and get in the cold. That's why, hey, some people in New York and other parts of the Northeast are going to go ahead and freeze this summer because, that's fair tactic. No, that's true. There's issues going on with the gas lines, ladies and gentlemen. But the president wants to shut down all coal. Ladies and gentlemen, if you live in West Virginia, you should be you should be ticked off. Okay, that is your living. Also in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, look, this is the point I want to say this because if you listen, I hope you listen to. If you're listening to this, you listen before Tuesday. But if you're in Pennsylvania, don't vote for John Fetterman because John Fetterman agrees with Joe Biden, and then that means he wants to shut down coal plants. He wants to shut down that line of industry. And see, this is why the nation is having a referendum of President Joe Biden's presidency. Because the president saying stuff like this is really, really disturbing. He wants to cut off one of our most reliable source of energy. Why? Because he was in California. But at the same time, it was a political speech. But ladies and gentlemen, at the same time, this nation is hurting. But what does Biden wants to do? He wants to shut down one of America's key energy supplies. And there's not one plant, not even start one up. No, he wants to get rid of all of them. And look, I admire Joe Manchin on that. And look, the best quote. I'm going to read his quote again because, well, let me go to where's it at? I just had it. I want to read Joe Manchin because I want to quote it because I want to make sure that I said it correctly. Joe Manchin. This is a quote from Joe Manchin, just to let you know. Comments like these are the reason American people are losing trust in President Biden, and instead believes he does not understand the need to have all energy policies that would keep our nation totally energy independent and secure. Manchin said, let me be clear. This is something the president has never said to me. Let me see, because he did. Joe responded to the Biden remarks by calling them outrageous and diverse from reality. Ladies and gentlemen, Biden has been diverse from reality from the day he stepped into office. Probably before. He is diverse from reality. On that note, we'll be right back after this short break from your friend, the Cajun Conservative.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all in one word, the Scott Ford Show, and it's on Rumble. And I also have a motivational success show on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell. That would mean a lot to me. Enjoy your life. Thank you, Isaac. God bless.
peace of mind when this old world seems to get me down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cajun Conservative Show for the third segment. Glad you're with us. Thank you for spending some time with us today. Look, it's a blessing to do this. I really enjoy it, and thank you for supporting us. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't think this was possible, but I will say this. I'm going to make this quote. People think American politics are confusing or complicated. They do. They look at us and like, oh my goodness. How do you do this? But ladies and gentlemen, I think a parliamentary system is way more confusing than American politics. Why do I say this? Israel has had, I think, 2 prime ministers in the last year. And it is the last one, it was so confusing. I was like, wow. But I am proud to announce that Benjamin Netanyahu has taken over Israel again. Israel went ahead and had an election again, and Benjamin Netanyahu, after 4 inclusive election, it looks like the 5th time finally worked for Benjamin Netanyahu. Israel's longtime former prime minister and current opposition leader appears to have energized a surprising victory in the country's 5th national vote since 2019. I said they had a lot of elections. Thanks to the help of extreme far-right party, the alliance could have profound implications, though partially ending his legal troubles at home while anti-going friends abroad. With nearly 90% of the ballot counted on Wednesday, all signs pointed to a victory for Netanyahu and his religious and nationalist allies. The count included 450,000 absentee ballots, was expected to be completely tallied on Thursday. So Benjamin Netanyahu, in our terms, was probably projected to win his race, which he did. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the left does not like Benjamin Netanyahu. Out of all prime ministers in this country, Biden and Netanyahu was pretty tick for tack. They helped Israel. Israel had, and look, I watch Israel news a lot because they are our only ally in the Middle East, and we help Israel a lot, and we should help Israel. That is God's chosen nation. We should help them. Prophecy surrounds Israel. Just remember this, ladies and gentlemen. But Netanyahu comes back now. To no surprise, this is from Breitbart. Biden has yet to call Netanyahu to congratulate Israel's election win. Why? As I just said, Benjamin Netanyahu was not liked by Biden or by Obama. They don't like him. They like the last guy. I can't even remember his name, but his stint was so short. And look, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to finish this point before I get to that. But they kind of liked him because he was more towards the left and not the right. But I'm glad Benjamin Netanyahu got it. Now, just think about this. American elections. We have an election on Tuesday. And we're not in a parliamentary system. We're more of a, I guess you could say, Roman democratic way of voting. But ladies and gentlemen, 5 elections since 2019. Could you imagine that? 5 elections to vote in our leader? I'm just like, wow. The last prime minister, I think, was only there for like 4 months, 5 months, give or take. Next time you think American politics are confusing, go look up the parliamentary system, which Israel is part of. I'm just saying. Now, they also had an election in Brazil where it's having a lot of problems. We're not going to get into that because I haven't done my extensive research into that. But a far left leader has supposedly won, and there's having some issues with their elections. But you know, we're gonna leave that for another time. I'm gonna try to. We got a lot more. We got a lot of issues. And that's what a lot of people. Okay, I just mentioned about Netanyahu. Okay, we mentioned about the British prime ministers and this Brazil thing. thing of it is, ladies and gentlemen, we have our own elections to worry. I understand domestically we got to worry about certain things with relationships and all that stuff. I understand that. But we have an election on Tuesday. I'm more worried about that election than elections from overseas, just in my opinion. And that was the whole note. Biden didn't. That's why I tied it in. Biden hasn't called Netanyahu. He has called the new Brazilian president, but hasn't called Netanyahu. What's up with that? Well, one's left, one's right. And just to remind you, our elections are not that complicated compared to a parliamentary system. It's the same thing with Justin Trudeau in Canada. Canada has a parliamentary system, and I'm like, why don't the people vote him out? Well, it's not based on that. The elections are pretty weird in a parliamentary system. Not to blame. And if you're listening from overseas, I hope I don't offend you on that. I'm just being blunt. All right, from Fox News. This was written a couple of days ago, I believe on Thursday. Hillary Clinton laments GOP election deniers in CNN interview despite past stolen election claims. Let me give you some details, ladies and gentlemen. Hillary Clinton has said in 2016 that she was stolen the election. It shouldn't have been Donald Trump. It should have been her. She blames the Russian collusion. She blames voter suppression. She blames all kind of other stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, this isn't the first time Democrats have called foul on an election. But Hillary Clinton goes ahead and the former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, pointed the fingers at Republicans, including GOP election deniers, for an ongoing struggle between democracy and autocracy. Ahead of the next week's midterm election, Clinton herself has reportedly claimed that her 2016 presidential election was unfair, calling Donald Trump illegitimate, and remarking that candidates have the race stolen from them even if they do everything right. On Thursday, Clinton appeared on CNN this morning where she was asked that the U.S. what can the U.S. do to combat ongoing threats to democracy. Man, we talked about earlier. It's kind of funny that Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Joe Biden and all the mainstream politicians, all mainstream Democrats are screaming threat to democracy because that's the only thing they can run on, ladies and gentlemen. They were hoping to run on abortion. But people are not focused on abortion right now. They're focusing on high crime, as the governor of New York is saying, why worry about crime? And they're just brushing off that other stuff. But they're trying to use these election deniers, or their so-called election deniers, as a way to win in the election Tuesday. But she was asked to combat. Let me see if I can find her quote. Yeah, she says, listen to the crazy stuff coming out from the election deniers, from people who laughed at Paul Pelosi being attacked. I'm going to stop right there. There was not a lot of Republicans doing that. Oh, they're election deniers. Ladies and gentlemen, I came behind this microphone and I said, the idiot that did that, if he was a right winger, he was wrong. I don't take pleasure, or I don't get entertainment from seeing another individual be hurt from another individual. I think it's wrong. This Republican never, ever glorified Paul Pelosi's attack. But according to Hillary Clinton, she lumps us all into one big coal. And guess what? From people who want to keep you scared, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring out this point. She's saying the Republicans want to keep you scared. I never said this. I'm not using fair taxes. Y'all using fair taxes that our democracy is going to be threatened. And you're also saying that they're going to take away Social Security and Medicaid. It sounds like the Democrats are running with scare tactics. No, we're quoting, if you keep the Democrats in office, crime will keep going up. Inflation will keep going up. This is going to keep going up. That's going to keep going up. That's fair tactics. No, that's the truth. Because we have a past track record of them doing that. Who don't have the answers to anything. I think it's time that every American say, you know what? We've got a lot at stake in pulling ourselves together. That is one quote of that. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal. But this is the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. She's talking about election deniers. Hillary Clinton was election denier in 2016. Just saying this. GOP don't. This is from Breitbart. Hillary Clinton GOP doesn't want to keep you safe. They want to keep you scared. And I believe this is talking about the same. Yeah, this is talking about the same interview. But ladies and gentlemen, do we really want to keep people scared? No. I want people to live in the pursuit of happiness and pursue life. But ladies and gentlemen, we're not the ones using scare tactics. Hillary Clinton is using scare tactics. And what she's doing, she's the pot calling the kettle black. Just being blunt. All right, I want to talk about one thing. And look, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't about Democrats. I am going to say something right here. And look, I was for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016, and I voted for him in 2020. I'm not ashamed of it. I did vote for Donald Trump. I like Donald Trump's policies. Donald Trump for the last couple of days has been talking about announcing his run for candidacy of the president of the United States. It has been confirmed. It has been told to the media that the week of the 14th of November, which is not next Monday, it's not this month, it's next Monday, the 14th. At the time of recording, it's the 6th, but y'all gonna be listening to this on the 7th. So the 14th, next week. They said he's gonna announce something after the midterm elections. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a stupid thing for President Trump to do. We still got 2 years until the presidential election. 2 years. And Donald Trump wants to announce, like, he wants to be the first one to announce his candidacy. You need to stop. And look, I noticed that 2024 is a big issue. And I remember recording a whole episode based on this. Stop worrying about 2024. Worry about 2022. The midterm elections are coming up this Tuesday, November 8th of 2022. Worry about that before we worry about a presidential election. But Trump wants to do that. I also voiced the opinion on how Trump should not run. I believe Trump shouldn't run, but he will. Okay, he is pointing out to all that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the issue I'm having. This is why I don't want Donald Trump to run. Because Donald Trump went ahead and had a rally. And I'm not against him for having rallies in Pennsylvania and all these places. Because if the man run, we can't stop him. But there's a lot of rumors going around that Ron DeSantis might run as well. Now, Ron DeSantis hasn't said that. Ron DeSantis is trying to win for Florida right now. He's trying to win for governor of Florida. That's all he's worried about at the moment. But Donald Trump went ahead and had a rally and started quoting numbers about how he's the favorite upon Republican candidates. Now, reading articles, this is a months-old poll that Donald Trump quoted. But former President Donald Trump, and this is why I told you guys this. I remember, and when I'm right, I'm right. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm going to say this. I called it before anybody else. I believe I called this. I didn't want Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis to run because they were going to attack each other. Ron DeSantis hasn't done that yet, but Trump has just fired the first shot. Now, Ron DeSantis is smart enough. He didn't go ahead and respond to this, but let's read the article from the Daily Wire. Former President Donald Trump took a shot at Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, both of these are Republicans, by the way. During a campaign event Saturday night in Pennsylvania, just days before the election for Florida's governorship. Why? I'm just being blunt. Why Trump? Look, and this is the thing. Why I even attack Ron DeSantis? That's one of your best allies. Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. I understand his campaign, but we got the 2022 elections still coming. Trump made the attack while campaigning in Pennsylvania, and he used a questionable poll that was conducted months ago, shortly after the FBI criminal investigation into the former president's handling of government records was made public following the Bureau raid on Mar-a-Lago. Trump 71, Ron DeSantis at 10%. Trump said to a crowd, quiet. There was very little reaction on the Trump attack on Ron DeSantis. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, half of the Republicans there like Ron DeSantis. President Joe Biden should not be attacking his allies. Not President Joe Biden. Excuse me, I misspoke. President Donald Trump should not be attacking his allies. And on that note, I know I misspoke, but you don't see President Joe Biden bashing Joe Manchin right now. You don't see him bashing candidates that are running for Senate. You don't see him bashing. Now, on his case, if he does that, he might help the candidate. But you don't see Joe Biden or any Democrat attacking one of their own. I'm going to be blunt with you. Even in Democratic primaries, you don't see Democrats attack. They attack. Like, I was shocked when Kamala Harris attacked Joe Biden on busing. You remember that in the primary debate with the Democratic poll debates in their primaries? Why do this? Why? And ladies and gentlemen, it has caused reaction. People have tweeted that this was wrong. Let me go ahead and Jennifer Van Leer, enough. Trump, stop. Move on. Let me see. This guy called AG Hamilton 29 on Twitter, attacking a popular Republican governor 3 days before a key election. Notice it always goes one way with Trump. DeSantis hasn't said one bad word about Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this hurts Donald Trump. Because attacking this is not attacking a popular governor, someone that aligns with your beliefs. Ladies and gentlemen, I can understand disagreements. I'm in politics and I am in religion, per se. I'm a Christian. But I understand having disagreements. Look, we have a podcast of a religious beliefs and a political beliefs. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand getting in touch with another podcaster and disagreeing with them, or another person that's a pastor and disagreeing with them on minor issues. But ladies and gentlemen, if we believe the same way, or our core beliefs are the same way, and we know we both align with each other, why the heck should I come on a podcast and blast them? And I'm using that as an example. But Donald Trump did that on stage in Pennsylvania. And guess what? It's wrong. It is dead wrong. Pompeo has run to the defense of Donald Trump, of Ron DeSantis. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo rushed to the defense of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, Ron DeSantis is getting defended. He ain't saying nothing, and he's rightfully so. He shouldn't say nothing. Not tired of winning at Governor Ron DeSantis. You proven conservative political work. Florida's better for it. Vote. Ron DeSantis. Pompeo tweeted Saturday evening, and the comments came after President Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, made his quote. And ladies and gentlemen, this isn't right. The former president should not, I repeat, should not attack someone that's aligning with him. Now, if worse comes to worse, if Trump is the nominee, I vote for him. And in the primary, though, I've told everybody I'm voting Ron DeSantis if he runs. It has not been confirmed if he runs. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a foul. This should not have happened. Donald Trump, I wouldn't even mind if Donald Trump said Ron DeSantis at 10% and him come on. Ron DeSantis is good, but I think I could do a better job. I will accept that. But Donald Trump attacking Ron DeSantis and giving him a nickname, because that's what I look at this, a nickname. It fits in the same line as when they say Lion Ted and Lock Her Up Hillary. Donald Trump's trying to use his nickname to gain popularity. And if Donald Trump is that ahead of the nominees, he shouldn't have to worry. But I think Donald Trump is worried about Ron DeSantis. Somebody did ask me that, do you think Ron DeSantis would be president if Donald Trump would be vice president? I said, heck no. Donald Trump's ego would not let him go to be second best. And that is my opinion on that. And look, ladies and gentlemen, for all the people that say, I think you're the only one hiding. I think you only quote Fox News. Well, I just proved you wrong right there because this is disturbing. I look at both sides of the issues just to let everybody know. On that note, we have run out of time for today. I want to thank you for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. It is an honor and privilege, as always, for you to listen to this show. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Go check out our YouTube page, Rumble, and our Rumble page, and go check out our audio platforms at Apple, Google, Spotify, and Amazon Music. So remember, everyone, keep the faith, because Tuesday night is going to be a big night. But don't put your faith in elections. Don't put your faith in politics. Don't put your faith in a person. The only person you should put your faith in is the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, he is coming back, and he's coming back soon. So if you know Jesus, don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you don't know Jesus, please reach out to me. I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and make heaven your eternal home. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. You have a good one. Go Republicans on November 8th. We'll see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.